right. I'm going to take you back a little bit. It was Christmas Eve, 2022. A devastating crash happened on the Ohio highway that changed lives forever. A semi-truck crossed the median in 0-degree weather with 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. The driver behind the wheel was heavily impaired. The truck he was driving was a mechanical disaster. But if you ask the multi-million-dollar freight broker who put that truck on the road, C.H. Robinson, they'll tell you they did nothing wrong. They'll tell you that it's the government's fault. So in this episode of Semicorey, and as someone who runs a trucking business, I know exactly what it takes to keep a safe rig on the road. Today, we are breaking down the paperwork illusion. We're going to look at the massive gap in broker vetting standards that allow chameleon carriers to steal identities, put dangerous trucks on our highways, and then shift the blame when the worst happens. But before we do that, first, we got to look at what the broker saw. And I'm going to put what the broker saw right here. C.H. Robinson hired a company out of Illinois called Unique Freight Carriers, Inc. On a computer screen, this carrier shows an active status. They are active even to this day. No unofficial, unsatisfactory safety ratings. They had the required $750,000 insurance policy, and an automated vetting process gave them the green light. But there's a massive difference between a safe carrier on paper and the physical truck that bumps the docks. When the Ohio State Patrol investigated the crash, that illusion was shattered. First, the official crash report listed the company as Unique Freight Carrier, missing the INC, or Inc. A slight name change, a classic chameleon carrier tactic. Even worse, the DOT field on the physical truck was blank. The driver, Dayran Ruckobert, had a Florida driver's license, but was working as a driver for a company in Illinois. And remember, he told officers on site he had just dropped a load at a Walmart DC and was en route for a reload. Well, technically, he didn't tell the officer because he didn't speak English. His girlfriend had to tell the officer for him. So he was actively moving, but either way, he was actively moving freight within our system. He also claimed that he couldn't log into his ELD. A huge red flag that he was hiding something. Specifically, he was hiding hours of service violations. This wasn't just a bad day. This was a stolen identity, a ghost truck, and C.H. Robinson, a multi-million-dollar vetting system, missed every single visual, factual discrepancy. But let's say you argue the identity theft was sophisticated. Let's look at the data they had access to. At the time of the crash, they had the DOT number. They had the out of service rating of 33.1%. Now let that sink in. 1 out of every 3 times this carrier's trucks were inspected, a DOT officer found them so mechanically unsafe that they ordered them off the roads immediately. The national average is around 22%. They were blowing way past that. Any broker doing basic due diligence, not just hunting for the cheapest rates to pad their profit margins, would have seen 33% failure rate and say, absolutely not. We are not sending this carrier into a blizzard with our freight. Absolutely not. And what about the driver? Let's look at the driver. Post-crash toxicology shows he was under the influence of amphetamines, cocaine, and methamphetamine. This guy was a goddamn drug addict. If the broker or their software dug into the FMCSA's drug and alcohol clearinghouse, they would have found proof of a pre-employment query. Or did they just take the carrier's word for it? When brokers prioritize cheap freight over rigorous identity vetting, they externalize that risk onto the public. So how is C.H. Robinson defending this in court? Oh, simple. They're using legal judo moves called the FAAAA. That's 4 A's, preemption. C.H. Robinson is actually trying to shift the blame onto the FMCSA. Their legal argument is essentially, it's the government's job to vet these carriers. If the FMCSA lets them keep the DOT, we are legally allowed to hire them. State courts can't sue us for negligent hiring. Now that's pretty hypocritical. In their public PR, they say safety is our top priority. But in the courtroom, they say safety is the government's problem, not theirs. As an owner, I can tell you that the FMCSA only has the manpower to audit about 1.5% of carriers per year. Now, they are doing some house cleaning with the new MODIS system to weed out fake addresses, dormant DOT numbers. But enforcement is dropping. You cannot police hundreds of thousands of carriers from a desk in Washington. These committing carriers, these people committing freight fraud, these are smart mice. And the only way to catch these smart mice who steal DOT numbers and run ghost fleets is real-time verification. So brokers must be held to a standard of due diligence. Verify the contact information. If the FMCSA is saying that the DOT, the carrier has XYZ email address, 123 phone number, and the driver or the person on the other end of the phone is giving you something completely different, vet it. It's not that hard. Check the out of service rates for these carriers. It's not that hard. Make sure that the name on the door of the truck is the same name as on the rate con. It's not that hard. Until negligent hiring are strictly enforced, the cheapest, most unsafe carriers will continue to win the freight, and the public will pay the price. So if you like this video, or you want to continue this conversation, or if you want to tell me about your own experiences with C.H. Robinson and chameleon carriers, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave comments, and tell your story below. I'm always going to be here to read them. So until next time.